Oh, hey, hi. So it's been a minute since I did my last video. I did say I was going to do a follow-up second and third. Here's my second. A lot's happened this week. Things didn't go as planned. And as you all know, I promised I'm not editing this. I'm doing it unfiltered. So I'm just going with life. It was funny because I was watching playback of the last video the other night with my daughter. And I was like, do I really talk that slow? Like, am I talking too slow in this video? And she's like, well, I mean, I said, like, to a point where it's bothersome. And she went, well, no, Mom, because if they're looking for the content, they're not really going to care. But maybe you do? Do you? I think you might. I was kind of annoyed with the slowness of the last video, but it's how I speak. So what do you want me to do? I'm just a slow speaker. Anyone who's ever sat and talked to me and just had a conversation, they know that I'm slow moving that way. I'm not an overreactor. I was, don't get me wrong, I was, but I'm not anymore. And even with my kids, like, certain things obviously will set me off, but where I'll speak faster when I have a task to fulfill as a parent or a work task or anything like that. But ultimately, I'm a pretty slow, kind of chill talker. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so I'm going to move on. So I said this already. It's been a minute. I wanted to come in with part 2 of inner child work, and I don't know, did you have a chance to look up anything? Were you able to research things? Did you try any of the meditations? Did you do any work? Let me know. It's okay if you didn't either. That's totally fine. So I think last we had left off at just sort of what inner child work looked like and what the healing part involved. But I just want to jump on real quick right now to do a video about what it looks like in your body, like how it comes back to you emotionally. I'm going to do another one too on reparenting, which is the third part, which also relates to the book that I referenced in the first video from Elsie Fleming. So I'm going to go with just this part, and then we can maybe do a third one on the reparenting part. So let me tell you a little bit about me. So when I lived in the Dominican, which I did for 10 years, and then I moved back to Canada, I had gained about, I'd say 30 pounds by then, 30, 40 pounds. I was probably at a high of about 185 for me, which is a little bit big because I'm still only about 5'6". I was always kind of small. I mean, I never had issues with like overweightness, but I couldn't understand why I was carrying all this extra weight. Eating normal stuff. I mean, it was in a Caribbean country. I was eating really good foods mostly and so on, but I couldn't grasp it. So anyway, when I came back and I kind of went on this 1 week healing journey where I locked myself in my room, and my kids were, I think, like 15 and 17 at the time kind of thing. And I had a week off in March where I had nothing planned. I'd just taken vacation time just in case I wanted to use it. And it just kind of fell in my lap where I was able to just really bunker down and do some really good hermit mode healing work. And maybe I'll do a different video on what I did in that week. I'm making a note right now actually to do that. But what I realized after, not before, after I did this work, is how much your body retains, right? Whenever you're in any kind of distress, from narcissistic abuse to the inner child work that we're talking about and other things. So basically, your body's always trying to talk to you, right? And sometimes that mind-body connection, which you hear in the spiritual world a lot, mind-body connection, doesn't always connect, right? You're processing in your mind, but your body's telling you a different thing. So I just want to talk real quick about some of the things that you might find are symptoms, things you've seen about yourself that might relate you back to wanting to do some of this inner child work that we were talking about. So a lot of it can be, it can show up as chronic stress, right? So living in that survival mode, everybody knows that fight, flight, or freeze. And it also leads to high cortisol and adrenal fatigue. So, which, when your adrenals are low and your cortisol is high, you'll feel a lot of, you can feel anxiety, restlessness, and feel exhausted at the same time. So like you can go from high anxiety to, oh my God, an hour later, 2 hours, I'm exhausted, I just want to sleep. So that's usually related to that high cortisol adrenal fatigue. I think the main point that we need to kind of look at is that the body remembers, right? Your mind might do the forgiving. It's, oh, hey, sorry, I'm forgiving you, and life is good again. And I'm just going to move on because I don't want to carry your bullshit anymore, your stupid trauma. Can I say that? Anyway, I just did. But your body will hold that negative energy. And for me, a good thing was walking, but not walking stressfully, not walking with purpose. I think I talked about this in the last video. Walking gently. Yoga. You don't have to sit there in full friggin' yoga meditation stance for 45 minutes to an hour. Literally just taking 4 minutes to learn a few moves on YouTube that open up your hips. Women, people, men hold trauma in their hips. I don't know why it's held there, but it is. It's in your pelvis, it's in your hips. And when you can just sit in lotus or squat down, squatting down to build a fire, or squatting down to put wood in a stove, that's squatting. But when you can do that and hold that position for a little extra time, that releases a lot of negative energy. You have no idea how healing those positions are. In fact, you have probably, if you're not in pain, have done that position, doing some sort of activity like that, and thought, oh my God, in your mind, this feels so good. So that's one thing that you just kind of want to look at. It'll also show up in your body like IBS. A lot of people will get ulcers just from holding, that stress. And then, of course, it's the typical shoulder pain, back pain that comes in, right? Oftentimes it will come in the shoulder blades from top to bottom down. So if somebody came up behind you and just started pressing you throughout your shoulder blades, you would want to immediately drop your neck, because we hold it in that space specifically. And so those are just some of the body immediate things, like things that you live in your day-to-day life with that you would recognize, right? Other things that'll show up, like just autoimmune diseases, right? A lot of colds, a lot of infections, cardiovascular problems. So those are things that you want to look into. A big one is emotional dysregulation, right? So that explosive anger, like you're ultimately a really cool person. I don't even want to use somebody cuts you off and, okay, that can just about stress anybody out. But really small things that when your day is going really, really well, but one thing just kind of sets you off and you wonder, what the heck? Why did that? Something in that moment might have triggered a memory internally that you're not recognizing yet. You haven't seen it, but your body's remembering. So those are some things that you want to look at. We'll often look at self-sabotaging behaviors. That could look like binge eating, food restriction. Food restriction, I think, is a big one. A lot of people think if I can't have control over my life, the very least I can have control over what I'm eating, what I'm consuming, right? Sorry, I should have put a trigger warning in front of that one, right? Over apologizing. So, You know how they always say Canadians, we're so apologetic all the time. We constantly say sorry. We really are, right? So just picture those people that say sorry on a good day because they cut in front of you, going into a door, whatever. But people with inner child traumas and healing that's needed will do that 10 times, right? I don't know, you could be with your partner in the kitchen and you go to lean across to grab a pot that needs to be cleaned and you're like, oh, sorry. Anything that you don't want conflict with, essentially. So if you find yourself over apologizing in all kinds of areas that have no meaning, have no direct impact on anything, that's something that needs to be looked at, right? Substance use, right? Of course, all your things, your coffees, your alcohol, different narcotics, toxic relationships, over sexing, right? A lot of that will come up. I'll probably talk about that one, another one as well. Just using our sexuality, right? Whether female or male, doesn't really matter. It's a sense of control, right? So when your inner child is not healed, the adult takes control, right? And tries to block out those playful elements and wants to put that power back into people. So that's something we'd want to look at. Lastly, of course, those boundaries. And I'd mentioned it in the last video just about having boundaries with people, right? Just had this conversation at the dinner counter while I was cooking with my kids. My daughter got invited. Well, at first she got invited to go visit my estranged ex-partner, her father, for a weekend for some family time. And then his cousin, or stepsister, messaged her and said, oh yeah, since you're coming down, would you mind working this event for me? So my girl sprained her ankle a week and a half ago, and she's been off work, and she got the medical certificate and everything. But she didn't know how to say no to this person because they were a family member. And keeping in mind that my children they are survivors in their own way of a narcissistic parent, right? I'll talk about that later. And I had to sit there and look at her and go, no, you say I have a sprained ankle. I'm just trying to get myself to work right now. She's going back to school in a couple of weeks. She's in her second year of nursing. And I'm going, honey, I taught you these boundaries. I've taught you it's okay to say no. You don't have to scream it. You don't have to be an asshole about it. But you can literally just say, no, sprained my ankle. Just trying to get through my own work shifts right now. If you want me to participate in this restaurant opening, I'll come as a guest. But no, I'm not serving. Right? And it's really hard for a lot of people. It's really hard. So anyway, I tried to talk faster. Did you notice? Look at me. I'm at 13 minutes. And I think I said a good part of what I wanted to say. I'll do some more. I hope you're great. I hope you're awesome. And if this path is calling you, I hope your healing portion is going well for you. Just do it for yourself. Trust me. It's so much better in the long run. But like I said in the first one, if you're not sure, make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people, a therapist, a good support system, because some of this stuff can be pretty heavy. Share in the comments if you'd like. And as always, thanks for listening. I don't know when the next one's coming. I will do my best to post sooner than later. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you clicking. I'm just a single mom who raised her 2 teenagers alone, young adults, who now has her mom living with her and is taking care of 3 people while working a full-time government job. And I'm just getting through life, peeps, and I'm just sharing how I got here, and maybe I'll get more vulnerable as it goes. I don't know. And maybe the next one I'll pull a couple of tarot cards or oracle cards. Yes, I'm a tarot reader. Yes, I'm a churchgoer. I'm a churchgoer and I'm a tarot reader. Don't judge me. I will meet my maker. That's between me and God. So maybe the next one I'll do an oracle card pull for you guys to give you a little extra love and attention. Anyway, take care of you. You are loved. You are divine. Bye.